So anyway, we smoked, the Doors smoked marijuana, and we became the ultimate Christians, in that we realized that the dictates of the Heartmaster from Jerusalem 2,000 years ago said, "Love thy neighbor as thyself," and that's the the whole of the law. Yes. Will be love thy neighbor as thyself, and I don't know whether or not he said, "Worship the Lord thy God with thy whole mind, thy whole heart, and thy whole soul." I mean, it's like you are God in your whole mind, your whole heart, and whole soul. So I don't know that you need to worship God. I think by just living your life, you are performing godly activities that absolutely delight the energy that created all of us, and the energy that we all are, and all things are. What's great about marijuana is that it opens the doors of perception, and go beyond that into psychedelics as well as LSD, mescaline, peyote, et al., mushrooms. But the marijuana is just, the first time I smoked it, it was just absolutely great. I thought, boy, is this stuff good? What is this? Wow. Music is like the purest example of the purest representation of that marijuana high. Absolutely delightful, absolutely stunning, thrilling, the notes, the music, the sound of a bass that jazz, coming out of a jazz foundation, just that bass, boom, 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 the vibrations of it. After all, music is the most ephemeral of all the art forms. It's it deals in vibrations. That's all it is. It's a plucked note. It's a played note. It's a struck as I do on the keyboard. It's Robbie playing a guitar, John hitting a drum. It exists and it's gone in an instant. And where does it go? Where does that sound go? We'll never know. It doesn't matter, but you can feel that within your body. You feel your body vibrating to the energy of those instruments being plucked. So the first time the Doors get together, Jim and I have gone to the UCLA Film School, and what a great time I had at UCLA with my wife. We're still married. Dorothy Fujikawa, Manzara, who have met my wife for, we will be 41 years. Give her a hand, actually, for putting up with me. I didn't have to do anything. She's the one that did a great job. And it probably kept me alive. Had it not been for her, I wouldn't be here. I'd be dead through excess of something, some stupid thing that rock and roll musicians do, kill themselves. I mean, what a tragedy. Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, Brian Jones, all 27. So for those of you into numerology, 7 and 2 is 9. That's like the number. The number we go about 9. I'll leave it there. They're all 27. They couldn't make that leap into adulthood. One of the problems of rock and roll is that it's not so much an idea of eternal youth, but it's like, I know for Jim's sake, Jim didn't want to become authority. He said you can't make peace with authority because you become an authority. That's what we have to do. We have to become the authority. Otherwise, guess who's going to be the authority? It's going to be John McCain and Sarah Palin. They'll be more than happy to take on the mantleship of authority. And holy we have to go through that another 4 years. Oh, well, we'll be the authority here. What do you think, George? Yeah, that's right, Dick. That's right. Call me Mr. Cheney. Oh, okay, Mr. Cheney. I'm looking forward to the Oliver Stone movie, too. Anyway, the first time John and Robbie and Jim and I all played together was one of those marvelous experiences. The first song Jim sang to me on the beach was Moonlight Drive, and I got the lyrics. I thought the lyrics were amazing. Let's climb through the tide, penetrate the evening that the city sleeps too high. Oh yeah. And I was doing like this, he was singing to me, I was doing like Ray Charles and Jimmy Smith kind of organ, kind of stuff behind it. And then at the end of the song, death enters the equation. Come on, baby, gonna take a little ride, going down by the ocean side. Get real close, get real tight. Baby, gonna drown tonight. And I went, whoa, Jesus, Jim. Like double suicide in many Japanese movies, a classic motif is double suicide, in which the two lovers cannot work it out, and the guy and the girl, they have no other alternative. They can't get married because dad wants the girl to marry somebody else, and the guy, and it doesn't work, and double suicide. This was a Western Pacific Coast version of driving down Pacific PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, and double suicide. I just got shivers from it, which of course I love, appealed immediately to my Slavic sensibility, dark and moody and Catholic and Slavic and all of that. Yeah, I can play that, man. I can play that. So we get together, John and Robbie. I meet John and Robbie at the Maharishi's meditation, the same thing the Beatles were into. It was late 1965, after having some LSD bummers, after magnificent opening the doors of perception LSD experiences, one with the universe, and then total isolation from the universe, going to hell. So I went to heaven and went to hell. Anybody else go to heaven and go to hell? All right. It's so good to be talking to people who understand what this is about. Yes. God bless you. God bless you people. You go to hell and it's like, oh my God, I'm totally isolated from the universe. Of course we know what being totally one with the universe is. It's the most divine feeling there is, and it's what's going to happen to us after we die. You know, Jim once said to me, he said, Ray, what do you think is going to happen to us after we die? What happens when you die? And I said, we're on the way to the airport. I had to pick him up. We're going to the airport. We've got a gig on the East Coast. He said, come on, man, we're going to go. It's not time for a philosophical discussion about spiritual discussion. I said, I don't think there is any death. There is no death. You just go on into eternity. He said, oh, yeah, maybe, man, I don't know. But what do you think happens to you when you die? So anyway, I think what we do is we have that divine experience of oneness in which we are all one with all things and all the energy. In other words, we are God, God is us. All of our activities is God saying, yeah, that's what I intended in the first place, yeah. So that we're all, you know, just living these fleshy forms that can experience such absolute joy and sensuality and eating. What could be better? Holy hell, you know, just absolutely great. When you think about a woman giving birth, I mean, how the hell does that happen? You know, you're with you know, as a woman, you're with your man, and your man is just, yeah, it's so good, God, that's good. And squid, and the guy goes, yeah, what you got, that was good. And guess what? You make a baby. How the hell does that happen? Who does that? That's God. That's you. That's all of us. That's everything.